Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you how to make this very awesome scarf. Now, upon looking at it, you may be thinking, how in the world am I, as a beginner, gonna make such a scarf? It looks like you have stitches going in all sorts of directions. And to top it off, you have all these different colors. How in the world is a beginner like me going to be able to create such a masterpiece? Well, if you are interested in learning how to make this scarf, stay tuned. Things you will need include a stitch marker. If you don't have one like this, you can use a safety pin, a paper clip, yarn of a different color than the yarn you're working with. Any of those things will work. All you need to do is hold the place of a stitch. A tapestry darning weaving needle, a pair of scissors, a crochet hook size J, 6 millimeters US, and 1 to 2 skeins of Bernat stripes yarn. Okay, this is a medium 4, and as you see, it is variegated. So here's a pro tip. I don't want you guys to have to learn the hard way the way I did. If ever you need multiple skeins of a certain color, then you should buy them all at once and buy them together. The reason that I say this is because with the scarf that I made, that I showed you at the beginning of the video, because Jada InStitch's pattern only calls for 1 skein, I only purchased 1 skein. And by the way, Jada InStitch's, she's the YouTuber whose video I saw make this beautiful scarf that we're about to make. She calls it the C2C, which is corner to corner 1 skein scarf. So meaning you can make this scarf using only 1 skein, and it's a corner to corner type of scarf, and you guys will understand why later. But I ended up only purchasing 1 skein, and because I ended up making my scarf wider, I needed more yarn, and so I ended up needing more than 1 skein. Well, I purchased this skein. It was Bernat stripes. I think it was called Sherwood Forest from the store. And when I discovered that I was running out of yarn, I went to go purchase another skein of it, and they were out. So then I didn't know when they were going to restock, and so I decided to just order it online because, it's by Bernat and it's Sherwood Forest. I ordered it online and it came in, and it ended up being a different color. For instance, the tan of that skein was a different shade, and the black was a slightly different shade as well. Now, you guys probably didn't notice it earlier, but I noticed it, and you would notice it if I were to actually point it out. But that was a lesson learned. So once again, if you are using multiple skeins of a certain type, try to buy them all together all at the same time so you don't run the risk of getting mismatched skeins of yarn, even though they're supposed to be the same colors. It's just all a matter of whether or not they came from the same production, I assume. So that's my pro tip. Now let's move on. Okay, so we are going to start with a slip knot. And if you guys don't remember how to make a slip knot, I have a video showing you how to do it. And now we are going to chain 6. Whenever we want to create what we're going to call blocks, we need to chain 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to put a double crochet in the 4th chain from the crochet hook. So here's our crochet hook. This is 1 chain. This is 2 chains from the hook. This is 3 chains from the hook. This is the 4th chain from the crochet hook, which also happens to be the 3rd chain up. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So we're going to put a double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook, or from another way of saying it, the 3rd chain up. 1, 2, 3. So we'll yarn over. Go into that chain. You can just grab 1, or you can grab 2 pieces of that chain. I kind of like to do it that way. It just feels sturdier to me. But feel free to only grab one. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Now you have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to make 1 double crochet in the next 2 remaining chains. So that was 1 chain, and we have 2 more chains. 1, 2. So yarn over, go into the next chain, and I'm going to do it the other way now, only grabbing 1. Notice they're not 2 loops on there, it's just 1. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. See how it kind of pulls up? I mean, it'll level out eventually, but that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to go through 2. You see how it's really sturdy down there? With this one, there's that little gap. So I'm going to go back to my way for this last chain, where we're going to put a double crochet. So yarn over, go into the chain, and get 2 loops on there of that chain. Yarn over, pull through to the front. We have 3 loops on our crochet hook. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay? This is our first block, and this actually is row 1. Okay? So the row number right now corresponds to how many blocks we have in each row. This is row 1, and we have 1 block. So this is also an increase row because we created a block. Rows 1 through 9 are increase rows. So now it's time to make row 2. So we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remember, whenever we want to create blocks, we chain out 6. And we're going to put a double crochet in the 3rd chain up. So this was the first chain we made. 1, 2, 3, and that 3rd chain up. And remember, that's also the 4th chain from the crochet hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same one, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here on out, I'm just going to say the 3rd chain up because it's easier. 1, 2, 3. Right there. Yarn over. Go into that chain. Make sure you get 2 loops on there and not 3. Okay, like that. Yarn over, pull through to the front. 3 loops on my crochet hook. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Now we know we have 2 more chains where we have to put 1 double crochet in it. So yarn over, go into the next chain, which is here. Get 2 loops on there. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Give myself some slack. Okay, and we have 1 more chain. Yarn over, go into that last chain, which is right there, but get 2 loops on it so it's nice and sturdy. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Now we have 3 loops on our crochet hook. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay, so this is what we have. And I want you to turn your work like this. So now we have 1 block. This is row 1. We chained out 6. We put a double crochet in the 3rd chain up, and then we put 1 double crochet in the next 2 chains. 1, 2. So a block consists of this chained portion and then 3 double crochets. Okay? And this is how it should be looking right now. You should see the front of the double crochets there and the back of the double crochets in that block. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch into this chain right here. Okay? So front, back, move your thumb over to this chain space, this chain 3 space, stick your needle in that hole, a crochet hook, yarn over, pull through to the front and all the way through. So I know it looks really awkward right now, but just bear with me, okay? At this point, we need to create another block. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and to create this other block in this same chain 3 space, we're going to add 3 more double crochet. So yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go into that same chain 3 space, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into the chain 3 space, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And if we turn it like this was row 1 with that first block. Now this is row 2, and it has 2 blocks, 1, 2. Okay? Remember, rows 1 through 9 are increase rows. So we just completed row 2. Now we're on to row 3, which means we're going to have 3 blocks. And so because this is an increase row, we have to chain 6 because that's how we create that block. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to put a double crochet in the 3rd chain up. So 1, 2, 3. So hold that, yarn over, go into that chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. That's 1 double crochet. Now we know we have 2 more chains here because we counted 3 up, and we know we need to put 1 double crochet into each of these chains so that we can form this block. So yarn over, go into that next chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, yarn over, go into this last chain, just right there, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, so it's always going to kind of, you're going to see the front, and then you're going to see the front like this, right? But this should always be the back side that you see when it's time to join this to that. So kind of, you have this in the front, you grab it, and then you pull that like that. Okay, it should feel kind of awkward. So now you can see the back of this block, but the front of this block. Now, as before, you're going to slip stitch into this chain 3 space. This is how we join this block that we just created to this row, which is row 2 because it has 2 blocks. Okay, so insert a hook in that chain 3 space. Okay, yarn over, pull through, and pull all the way through. Now this block is connected to that block, but now we need to create another block. So we just slip stitched into this chain 3 space. So we're going to chain 3, and remember we have to put 3 more double crochet into the same chain 3 space. That's how we create a block, is it not? Yes, it is. So let's yarn over, go into that space, yarn over, pull through to the front, go through 1, 2, yarn over, go through 1, 2. Let's make 2 more of those. 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is the 3rd one. 1, 2, 1, 2. So what do we have? We have a block here of row 3. We have another block of row 3. And then there's still this block over here. So there's that chain 3 space. So we need to connect this to that block. So we're going to slip stitch just like we just did with the other one, with the previous block, all the way through. And we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to put 3 double crochets into this same chain 3 space to create the last block, the third block for row 3. One, 2, and 3. So what you can see now is that row 3 has 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3. Row 2 has 2 blocks. 1, 2. Row 1 has 1 block. 1. Okay? And if you turn it this way, you can kind of start to see that this has formed a corner here. Okay? So, as I said before, remember that rows 1 through 9 are increase rows. So we're going to keep adding blocks until we get to 9 blocks. So remember to add a block, what do we have to chain 6? Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to put our first double crochet in the third chain up. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a double crochet in that one, and that one. So yarn over. Once again, count third chain up. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, find that next chain, which is there. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, and yarn over, go through 2, and one more. Yarn over, go into the chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So this is that awkward part now. So remember, you should see the front of this block, but you should also see the back of this block. So right now we're looking at front and front. So you want to turn it like that, okay? Now we need to connect this block to that block. So the way we do that is we find the chain 3 space of this block and we slip stitch. So go into the chain 3 space, yarn over, and pull all the way through. Okay? Now remember, after we slip stitch into the chain 3 space, we need to chain 3, because now we're trying to create the block. And then we need to add 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space to fill that block in. Okay? Later on in the video, you're going to notice that I'm going to call the blocks steps because they're going to resemble steps more. Okay? And then I'm going to say fill the step in. When I say fill the step in, I'm meaning fill the block in at those double crochets. Okay? So I've created that block or step. Now I need to connect this to that. So find the chain 3 space, which is always at the end. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now add 3 double crochet into the space. 1, 2, give myself some slack, and 3. Okay. So this is row 4, which means we need 4 blocks. We only have 3 right now. And I'm noticing that this is not connected to this. It's detached. So, oh yeah, I can create a block over here. So find the chain 3 space, which is there. Slip stitch. And now chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over. And let's add our 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. And now we have our 4th block. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you see they're starting to look like steps now. Okay, so this right here was row 1, 1 block. Row 2, 2 blocks, 1, 2. Row 3, 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Row 4, 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we chain 6. 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to do one more row with you on camera, and then I'm going to let you loose, and you're going to do the same thing until you have 9 blocks. Find the 3rd chain up, 1, 2, 3, and put our first double crochet in it. So yarn over, go into that chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. We have 2 more chains, 1 double crochet in each, yarn over, go into the next chain, which is here. Okay, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go into that last chain, which is there. Okay, and get 2 loops so you get some of that meat, or I guess in this case some of that yarn. So it's not flimsy, it's nice and sturdy. Yarn over, pull through to the front. We have 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay, here's that awkward part. Remember, we're looking at the front of these right now. And we're looking at the front of these. But remember, we should be looking at the front of these with the back of these. So you want to turn it that way. Okay? So now these are the backs and this is the front. Hey, this block is hanging off to the edge. We need to connect it. Oh, I know how we do that. We find the chain 3 space, which is always at the end of each block. Okay? And we slip stitch into it. So let's do it. Slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now we put 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. So yarn over, go into the chain 3 space, add a double crochet. That's 1. This is 2. And this is 3. Okay, we've created our second block or second step of row 5. Okay, so this was the first, and then we connected it, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Now we're going to go and connect it here, slip stitch, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and follow that up with 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. That's our third block. 1, 2, 3. We need to connect it, find the chain 3 space. There it is, slip stitch, chain 3, 1, 2. Oopsie. And 3. Now they're really starting to look like steps. Yarn over. Oh, I lost it. There it is, 3. And now we're going to put 3 double crochet into this chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 4th block. But remember, we were in row 5, so we need to have 5 blocks. We have to do one more block. So this is detached. Find the chain 3 space, there it is, and slip stitch into it. And now we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. I call that stepping up. And now fill in the step. Add 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So as you can see, we are creating the scarf. This is the corner. It's getting wider with each row, and it's also getting taller or longer with each row. So we're on row 5. How do I know? Because we have 5 blocks in the last row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to meet you at the beginning of row 9 to make sure you guys are still on track. So continue on adding blocks. You're going to start by chaining 6, putting your first double crochet in the 3rd chain up, and then a double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 2. Okay? And then you're going to slip stitch and so on and so forth. Don't forget to make sure you're seeing the front of the block you just created and the back of the next block. Okay? That's very important. Alright, I will meet you at row 9. Okay, so I just completed row 8. Remember, the number of the row, or the number for each row, is equal to the number of blocks that that row has. So I said I just completed row 8. That means I should have 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, as I told you before, in Jada InStitch's video, she stops here and then she begins to elongate the scarf. For me, this wasn't really wide enough, so we're going to do one more row, which will be row 9, and then we'll have 9 blocks, and then we will start to work on elongating the scarf. Okay? Alright, so hopefully you've been doing this up to this point. We're at the top. We're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remember, we always chain 6 when we're creating a block out of thin air, basically. There's no block over here, but we're about to create one. And we put a double crochet into the 3rd chain up. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go into that chain. Remember, I like to get 2 loops on it from that chain. You can do 1. 1 is fine, but I like 2. And then we'll put that double crochet in there. Since we want 3 chains up, we know we have 2 chains left. That one, 1, and that one, 2. We're going to put 1 double crochet in each one. Like this. And 1 double crochet in that last chain there, the very bottom. Alright, so this is the part where it's kind of awkward, right? This is the front side of that new block that was created out of thin air from chaining 6. And this is the front of the block from row 8. Remember, you want to turn this over so that we're looking at the backs of all these blocks while leaving this like this so that we see the front of this block. Now we're going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space there. And we just leveled it out. Now this is level. Alright, so now I told you I also call these blocks steps. So now I'm going to start calling them steps. So I'm going to say step up, which means chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? fill that step in by adding 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. That's the same space that we just did the slip stitch in. 2 and 3. Alright, level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space, which is there. Level it out. Okay, step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step. 1, 2, 3. If you guys only knew how awkward it is that I'm crocheting right now. Just the position that I'm sitting at. Okay, level it out. So slip stitch into that chain 3 space, step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill in that blank step by putting 3 double crochet into this same chain 3 space. 2, 3. Level it out. Slip stitch, step up, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill in that chain 3 space by adding 3 double crochet into it. Okay. Level it out. Slip stitch, step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill it in. 1, 2, 3. Alright, level it out. Slip stitch. Step up, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill the step in. 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Level it out by connecting it to this block in that chain 3 space. So we slip stitch, step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step. 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. Okay. And level it out by connecting it, slip stitching into this chain 3 space on the end. Alright, so you might think you're done at this point, but you're not. We have to, this chain 3 space, we can create a step there. Okay, so step up. 2, 3. Fill the step in. Add 3 double crochet to that chain 3 space. Okay, and this, so we have in row 9, 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now we're going to stop increasing on one side. We're going to maintain on that side that we're not increasing, and we're going to continue increasing on the other side so that the scarf actually gets longer. Alright, so since we're not increasing, we're not going to chain 6. We instead chain 1. And we turn our work. Okay. Now we're going to put a slip stitch into each of the 3 double crochet that we just made with this last block. So we just chained 1. We're going to go back into that, the top of that last double crochet that we did before we chained 1, and we're going to slip stitch. That's 1. We're going to go to the next double crochet. This one, slip stitch into that one. 2. And this third double crochet, we're going to slip stitch into that as well. 3. Now this chain 3 space feels a little lonely, so guess what? We're going to slip stitch into that one as well. So just insert your crochet hook into that chain 3 space and slip stitch 4. Okay, so we slip stitched 4 times back across. Now we can essentially turn our work like this, and we're going to be stepping up and creating blocks this way. And this is how our scarf is going to begin to grow long this way. Let me show you. So we just slip stitched into this chain 3 space, as we have been doing all along. Whenever we slip stitch into a chain 3 space, the next thing we do is chain 3. So step up, 1, 2, 3. We step up by chaining 3. Fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. 2 and 3. And this part is just like what we've been doing all along. Level it out by slip stitching into this next chain 3 space. Okay. Remember, what do you do after you slip stitch into that chain 3 space? You step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space. Step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill it in. 3 double crochet into this chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Level it out by slip stitching into that next chain 3 space. Step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step. 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space. The same chain 3 space. Level it out, slip stitching into the next chain 3 space. Step up, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill it in by adding 3 double crochet into the same chain 3 space. Level it out by slip stitching into that chain 3 space. Step up by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill it in. Fill that step in by adding 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. Level it out, slip stitch, step up, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill the step in by adding 3 double crochet. 1, 2, into that same chain 3 space. 3. Level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space. Step up, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill in that chain 3 space and that step by adding 3 double crochet into the same chain 3 space. Okay. Level it out by slip stitching into this next chain 3 space. Okay. And we are going to chain 3, step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space, the last one. 2, 3. Okay, so if we take a look at this really closely, you can see what we've done. Okay, so this row, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you might be wondering, this is technically row 10. Why does it have 9 blocks. The previous row had 9 blocks. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one, and that was row 9, but this is row 10 and it only has 9 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can count it as many times as you want. You're only going to get 9 blocks. The reason is because on this side, we didn't increase anymore. Remember, we didn't do a chain 6 and create a block out of thin air, right? We instead chained 1, did a series, technically 4 slip stitches back, and then chained 3 and then created a block on top of that one. So that stopped this scarf from getting any wider. Remember, from this point on, we're just making it longer, okay? It's getting taller. So every time we get to this side, we're going to chain 1 and do the 4 slip stitches to maintain this edge. And every time, as you are going to see on this side, we're going to chain 6 to keep this one growing on that edge. Now this is the time where you should grab your stitch marker, because you're going to mark the side, which is this side, that you're no longer increasing. Okay, so if you ever forget while you're crocheting the scarf which side you should increase by chaining 6 and which side you should maintain by chaining 1 and doing the slip stitches, you just find the marker. The marker will tell you that, oh, I need to maintain, do not increase. Okay, so once again, this is the side where we did not increase, and I'm just going to put my stitch marker in there like that. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a piece of yarn of a different color, safety pin, paper clip, whatever. But every time you get to this side and you see this marker, that should remind you not to chain 6 and create a block, right? It should remind you to chain 1 and do the 4 slip stitches and then continue on from that way. And that way we'll just continue filling in and not getting wider. It'll just continue adding. So from this point on, we're gonna keep getting longer and taller together. It's always going to be at a slant until we get farther along the scarf, okay? So it's always going to be slanted like this until we start to fill it in towards the end of the scarf. But that's much later. So yes, add that stitch marker on the side that you're maintaining. And whenever you see it, remember that this means don't do the chain 6. It means do the chain 1 and 4 slip stitches. Alright, so picking up right where we left off, this is the side with the stitch marker, so we know we're going to maintain on this side. But we're on the other side, so that means we need to increase. We increase by, remember, chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a double crochet in the third chain up. 1, 2, 3. So a double crochet goes in there. And then in the next 2, 1 double crochet goes in the next 2 chains. And 1 more in that last chain. Okay, here's that awkward moment. I'm seeing 2 fronts, front, front, but I really want to see front, back. And now I slip stitch to level it out into that chain 3 space, slip stitch into the chain 3 space. After I slip stitch into the chain 3 space, I step up. 1, 2, 3, fill the step in. 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill the step in, 1, 2, 3. Level it out, slip stitch into the chain 3 space, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill it in, 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, level, fill in the step with 3 double crochet, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill it in, fill that step in with 3 double crochet, sorry, you're hearing my stitch marker hit the table. Level it out, slip stitch into the chain 3 space, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill that step in with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch into the chain 3 space, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill that step in with 3 double crochet, level it out into the chain 3 space, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill that step in with 3 double crochet, and slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, which is that edge, okay? And that's where we're going to stop because we don't want to increase, right? We slip stitch there, and now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and slip stitch into the 3 double crochet there and 1 time into that chain 3 space. So slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, and into the chain 3 space, slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we always chain 3 after we slip stitch into the chain 3 space. So we chain 3, so step up and fill the step in, 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. And now it's business as usual. Level it out by slip stitching into that next chain 3 space. Step up, 1, 2, 3. Fill the step in, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second to show you what. Okay, so when we got here, remember we saw the stitch marker and we were like, oh shoot, we don't want to add another block by chaining 6. So we chained 1, slip stitched back through those 3 double crochet that we made, and then slip stitch into that chain 3 space, and then we chained the 3 here. So we stepped up and then we added the block, and now it's just business as normal. So as you see, we just finished our 3 double crochet there. We're going to slip stitch in here, chain 3, step up, fill in the step, and so on. When we get to this side, because this side is not the side with the stitch marker, after we add our last block into this chain 3 space, then we're going to chain 6, because remember, we want this to get longer. Okay, so I'm going to finish these and then I'll meet you once I get right there. Okay, as promised, I'm almost at the top. I just created this last block. I stepped up by chaining 3, filled in the step by adding 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3 into the chain 3 space, and now we level it out by finding the chain 3 over here of that block and slip stitching. So just remember that after you slip stitch in to that chain 3 space, it looks like there's nothing else to do really, right? But remember, after you slip stitch into a chain 3 space, you chain 3. And yes, we're going to add a block. So we stepped up by chaining 3, and now we're filling in that step by adding 3 double crochet into the block. And because you don't see a stitch marker along this side, that means that this is the side that we increase on. When we increase, remember, that's when you chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add a double crochet into the third chain up. 1, 2, 3. You guys, I'm sure you know how to do this by now. 1, 2, and 3. Here's that awkward part where we're seeing front, but we want to see front, back, so we turn it like that. And now we want to level this out. So the way we do that is we add a slip stitch into this chain 3 space. Now it's level. Step up. 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step. 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Level it out. Slip stitch into that chain 3 space. Okay, step up. 1, 2, 3. And so on. Okay, until we get to this side. Okay, I'm going to meet you once I get down here. We're going to complete this, and then I'm going to let you all spread your wings and crochet. Alright, so as you can see, I've been stepping up and filling in the step. And now I am here. So I just stepped up. I'm going to fill in that step by adding 3 double crochet into this chain 3 space. And then I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 3 space there. That's a part of that block. Notice the stitch marker there. So we do not increase, we do not add a block over there. Alright, let's fill in that block. 1, 2, 3 double crochet, slip stitch into this chain 3 space, and we see the stitch marker ding ding ding, so we know 1, we're done, and it tells us to chain 1 instead of chaining 6. And now we need to slip stitch back into these 3 double crochet and into this chain 3 space, but we have to turn our work first. Okay, so this is the first double crochet, slip stitch, second double crochet, slip stitch, third double crochet, slip stitch, and lastly chain 3 space, slip stitch, and now we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. You kind of rotate your work because now we're going to be stepping up that way. So fill in this step by adding 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space. And level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space there, and step up by chaining 3. Okay, so as you can clearly see, we did not increase here. We maintained that edge by slip stitching our way back across those 3 double crochet in that chain 3 space, and then we chain 3, filled in that step by adding 3 double crochet, and proceeded as normal. Okay, this is how you maintain this edge. Then over here, this is getting longer, so when you get up here, after you do the block on top of that, you chain 6 so that you can create another block. Okay, remember at this point you should also be maintaining a total of 9 blocks. So the previous row was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't forget to add a block in that chain 3 space there. And then we're going to chain 6. Okay? You're going to continue in this manner until you get your scarf to a desired length. And then once you do that, then I'm going to show you how to fill in the rest of it and level the top off. FYI, it took me about 78 or so rows. I just repeated what I just showed you for a total of like approximately 70 more rows. And then at that point it was long enough and I moved on to the next step. So continue doing this, paying attention to whether it's maintain the edge side or whether it's increase side. And I will meet you back once you've gotten your scarf to your desired length. Alright, so I am just about wrapping up my 79th row. So I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 3 space there, as I've been doing all along. And as you can see, this is the shorter side of the scarf. Okay, you can't see it, but way back there you would see the stitch marker. So this is my maintaining side, and you remember to maintain you don't chain 6, you chain 1, and then you turn your work. You turn your work and then you slip stitch back into the 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th slip stitch goes into that chain 3 space. And now we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We turn our work upwards like so, and now we start to step up. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this row, which is row 80, and then this top right here, that's when we're gonna start to level off the top of the scarf, and we're going to fill in this space. So I'm going to crochet through this row so that you can get your bearings. It doesn't matter at which row you're at that you start to level things off, but we're going to do something both familiar and a little different with the top to get it to start to level off across the top as well. The same way we've been keeping this straight edge, we're going to start keeping an edge up here. Alright, so I've chained 3. Now I'm going to put 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space, filling in the step. Now I'm going to level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space, which is there. Step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out by slip stitching to the next chain 3 space, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out by slip stitching, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the chain 3 space or fill in that step with double crochets, 3 of them into that chain 3 space. Level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, yarn changes color, fill in the step with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, 3, fill in the step, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, level it out, slip stitch, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. So hopefully all of the rows that you've been making, hopefully they've gone by as easily and quickly for you, because you're just repeating that, each time. Now normally, because when you look at this is the taller edge or side of the scarf. This is the shorter one, and this is the side where we always chain 1 and slip stitch. This was always the side where we would slip stitch and then chain 3 and add a block on top. But now we want to level out this edge, so we're going to treat it as if though it's the other side. Okay, so we slip stitch. So instead of chaining 3 now and adding 3 double crochet in this block, we slip stitch, we chain 1, and you might have guessed it, we're going to slip stitch back across. That's gonna keep this edge level. Okay, we're not adding a block over here, that would make it taller, right? But we're going to level this out now. So now we turn our work. Okay. And now we're going to slip stitch back across into those 3 double crochet. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. Slip stitch. Remember that 4th slip stitch always goes into that chain 3 space. Slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 3 like we normally do after we slip stitch into the chain 3 space. And we're going to put 3 double crochet in there to that same chain 3 space because we're filling in the step. Okay, so that's what we just did. And now we proceed as normal. So now we slip stitch and fill in the row as normal. Sorry, my scarf is trying to get away from me. Got to pull it towards me. Alright, so now we proceed as normal. We find the next chain 3 space, level it off by slip stitching, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step with 3 double crochet. Make sure you're not getting your yarn tangled with itself. Okay, and then slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, chain 3, step up, okay, and so on. So let me show you what's happening now. Okay, so I turned the scarf over, I flipped it over to go back. So this right here is where I slip stitched into that chain 3 space. And instead of chaining 3 and then creating a block in that chain 3 space, I instead chained 1 and then I slip stitched across, okay, the top. So that's what that is. And then I chained 3 and then added these 3 double crochet, and now I'm starting to fill in blocks going down. Okay, so you notice that now the top is starting to level off. Okay, instead of just having one block off over here, I have one there and one there as well on that same level. This side will start to fill in as well, and then before you know it, all this will be filled. So let me continue down here so you can see how this fills in. Okay, so I went back to that chain 3 and now I'm filling in the step. So with 3 double crochet, that's 1, 2, and 3. And this part is very familiar to you all. Okay, level it out, substitch into the chain 3 space, step up, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step, 3 double crochet, 2, 3, level it out by substitching into the chain 3 space, step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet into that same chain 3 space that we first slip stitched into, level it out by substitching into the next chain 3 space, chain 3, step up, fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet into that chain 3 space, level it out by slip stitching into the next chain 3 space, step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet into the same chain 3 space that we first slip stitched into at the beginning of this block. Alright, and now we're at the edge. So we slip stitch. Now remember, all along this edge, this is the edge, you can't see it because it's way down here somewhere. This is the edge with the stitch marker. Okay, right here. This edge right here, stitch marker is the same edge. So for this edge, we've all along chained 1 and then slip stitched our way back across, maintaining this edge. So we're going to continue to do that. And that's the thing from here on out, on both sides, regardless of what edge you're at, whether it's the top edge or the side edge, you're always going to chain 1 and then slip stitch back into those 3 double crochet and then once into the chain 3 space, like there. Now we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, step up, and we fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Level it out by slip stitching. Step up, 1, 2, 3. And let me show you what it's looking like now when we lay it out. Alright, so as you can see, this edge is getting filled in, and we're also continuing to fill in this edge like we've been doing all along. But something else you should notice is that you have fewer blocks. You should have 1 less block each row. So let's start here. Let's count the number of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. The previous row we should have had 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was the last normal row, and then that's when we started to maintain this edge as well to create that top. So that's why we have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means this row we should have had 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Very good. And that means this row we should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one we just created, 6. So continue doing that. Continue filling it in on each edge, chaining 1 and turning your work and slip stitching across on this edge as well as this edge until you have one more block that you need to create. I'll meet you there. Okay, so we're just about at the point where we have one more block to make, and this is the top edge so you can get your bearing. Just want to make sure you guys have been doing the top edge correctly. So after you create your block, you want to slip stitch into the chain 3 space, because remember we do that, and you want to chain 1 because we're doing both edges the same way. We don't chain 6, we chain 1 after slip stitching, turn our work, and then we slip stitch back across. And that is what has allowed us to level off our tops. 2, 3, and the 4th one is into that chain 3 space. So to fill in this last block there, we do exactly what we've been doing all along. Step up by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. Fill in the step by adding 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and then level it off by slip stitching into the chain 3 space. Okay, chain 1 and cut your yarn. And you can leave a long enough tail so you can weave it in with the darning needle I told you would need later. Okay, pull it tight. Okay, and yeah, then you can grab your darning needle, tapestry needle, weaving needle, whatever you want to call it. Get the yarn in there. Try not to split it the way I'm doing. Okay, and then once you get it in there, just weave the yarn through the stitches. And because this is a variegated yarn, I would be sure to make sure that I'm weaving the yarn into the correct color. So because this tail is like this bluish, purplish color, I'm only going to weave my yarn into the places of the scarf where the yarn is the bluish, purplish color. Makes sense? Okay. So just continue doing that. And don't forget about the tail at the other end where you first started, way down here. Weave that in, and I will show you the finished product after I do that. Alright, and this is the finished product. Notice that this is where the stitch marker is, so this is the edge that I started. And notice that you don't see any tails hanging out. I weaved them in. This is the other end of the scarf, and I weaved in that bluish purplish color yarn. Okay, and remember, this is a corner to corner scarf because we started from one corner and we finished, we closed it up at the other end, at the other corner. So corner, crochet, 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 crochet to corner. Okay, alright, I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you actually love this pattern. I definitely do. It just looks very sweet, especially when you get into different variegated yarns with different color schemes. It just looks really amazing, and I am very confident that all of you can make your own. So get to it, and when you do, let me know. Maybe you can upload pictures on Instagram, or if you make a video, let me know and I'll watch your video seeing your finished product. But yeah, I think this is a very awesome pattern, so thank you once again to Jada and Stitches for making a video on it so that I could do one of my own. Alright, I guess I will catch you all in the next video. Happy crocheting!